the southernmost eastern portions of the GTA, where prices have gone up tremendously in those areas. As of July 2021, there's only 6 areas in the GTA at large where you can buy a house for less than $1 million, at least according to the average price. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. back with another video for you guys here today. As always, you can find my contact information in the description box with regards to my Gmail, my Instagram, and my office. Feel free to get in touch with me with any questions you may have with regards to any topics covered in this video, any topics covered in previous videos, or if you have any general inquiries with regards to the Toronto/GTA real estate market. Lastly, if you happen to enjoy my videos and find them informative whatsoever, feel free to support with regards to a subscription/like on this video. And as well, feel free to ask your questions in the comment sections as well. As always, your support in that regard is greatly appreciated, but you're not obliged to do so whatsoever. Let's get to the point of today's video, which is once again discussing detached home prices. As of July 2021, there is only 6 neighborhoods/areas. It's better to think of them as areas because they're quite larger than neighborhoods or communities. So 6 areas at large where you can find a property for less than $1 million, at least according to the average sold price. Now let's quickly list off the 6 areas, and keep in mind 6 out of 60. There's a grand total of 60 areas in the GTA. These areas are alternatively called TREB areas because they're distinguished in terms of boundaries according to TREB, and it is the common practice to use them as a point of reference in terms of different districts, different areas in GTA real estate. And you can find the link to an interactive TREB maps in the description box, and this will show you the map layers and all the different TREB areas and sub areas and communities, all the way from downtown to far north of the GTA, far east of the GTA, the far west end of the GTA. Feel free to go take a look yourself. But the 6 areas in the entirety of the GTA where you can find an average price of a detached home less than $1 million, according to the latest full month we have available to us, which is July 2021, is the following in no particular order. Georgina coming in at $861,000 as an average price. Orangeville coming in at an average price of $878,000. Brock, the area of Brock, coming in at $773,000 as an average price. Clarendon coming in at $930,000 as an average price. Oshawa coming in at $855,000. Secaucus coming at $986,000. Off the bat, as you can see, the cheapest area is still well below $1 million in terms of average price is Brock, which resides in the northeast of GTA, at least in relation to the city of Toronto, even in relation to certain areas of York region, such as Central Richmond Hill, Central Markham, and Central Vaughan. It's quite northeast, whereas other areas, eastern areas, such as you can see from the list, Clarendon is east of the GTA, but it's pretty southern. You can actually get pretty close to the water, such as the case with Whitby, Oshawa, Ajax as well, the southernmost eastern portions of the GTA, where prices have gone up tremendously in those areas. And for the longest time, if you're a client of mine, you have heard me speak about Clarendon as a location that is just waiting to explode, in my opinion. There's a lot of development occurring in the Clarendon area, and Oshawa as well, which is on this list. But especially Clarendon, I think it has potential to be the second best township in the eastern portion of the GTA, in the southern eastern portion of GTA, after Whitby, and even some people might say after Ajax as well. And what's really driving the thrust of the prices here for Clarendon, I would probably have to say, is the mini township, I guess the sub-community of Cortis, which belongs in Clarendon. All the other entries on this list, Secaucus, for instance, are still on the east side of the GTA. However, Orangeville is the exception to that. Orangeville resides the west of the GTA, so northwestern portion of the GTA. And for this reason, you can see why on this channel I have been saying for a long time, in relation to freehold properties at least, that if you're still a first-time home buyer or a novice buyer, end user most likely, and you still are seeking a semi, a townhome, and a detached, it's best to wander towards the eastern part of the GTA as opposed to the western. Not to say these are based on average prices once again, right? So areas that have average prices of 1.1, 1.05, that's an average. You can still find detached, semi-detached in those areas that are less than $1 million. It's just obviously on average, they're more expensive. So for that reason, for the longest time, I have been telling people if a proximity to work or a long commute is either a non-issue, or if it's an issue, it's not the biggest issue for you, and you rather just go a little bit further and sacrifice the proximity for a larger space in more of a suburb household type of community, going east is a very good option, and prices have been trending in that direction for the longest time. In fact, I will go so far as to say that Clarington, Oshawa, and a lot of entries on this list will most likely not be still at an average of $1 million by mid 2022 to late 2022, early 2023. I think we will see these areas well above $1 million average price. Now, once again, these are 6 TREB areas out of 60, so 10% of the total TREB areas available in the GTA. All the other ones, obviously, the remainder 54 are obviously above $1 million average price. Now, as a point of reference, if you've been curious at how this compares and contrasts to previous years, for instance, in 2019, out of this total 60 TREB areas, there was 28 out of the 60 that was below $1 million in average sold price. And if you look at 2020, there was 18. And now obviously we're dealing with 6. So once again, quite obviously, I think it's easy to project, as I have, not just based on this, but other metrics as well, that we're not going to be dealing with 6 next year. At least when we look at 2021 in its entirety. In 2022, I think we're still going to be dealing with only 1 to 2. Now, if we just look at July home prices dating back to 2018, so average sold price across the GTA, across all property types from July 2018 to July 2021, we see a 35% increase. Yet another metric that shows us how things are trending. Going from $782,000, going from $782,000 to $1.06 million. Now, keep in mind, we are kind of changing the criteria right now. Previously in this video, I discussed detached home prices. So all those prices were exclusively with regards to detached freehold. Here we're talking about, across all property types, right? But nonetheless, yet another metric and number to show you where things are headed and what has been happening. A big explanation you always hear, and I actually made a video on this previously, and an explanation I subscribe to a small extent, yet I do not put as much stock in it as others do, is a low level of supply. That's the classic thing you hear all the time. There's a supply issue. That's why prices keep going up, keep going up, keep going up, keep going up. And I think, once again, I subscribe to it to a smaller extent. There is definitely a strong degree of veracity to it. Where it falls short for me is, I think, the supply issue is more of a symptom of a larger problem and not the problem itself. Once again, I don't think the low supply is the be-all end-all of the explanation. I think there's a lot more that should be added onto the list. Poor city planning, for instance. People take for granted the extensive or lack thereof, the importance of an extensive public transportation, where business sectors and financial sectors and, for instance, entertainment and cultural centers and sectors are located as well. That impacts greatly buying decisions of both end users and investors. And also, we cannot forget to mention the record low interest rates that people have been working with. This is a conclusion I've mentioned in the past, but I've really seen from the numbers and my daily experience as a real estate agent who works with both buyers and sellers, but in this case, working with buyers, it really shows me that buyers are more than ever less and less so commute conscious. I'm working with buyers who work in downtown Toronto and they're looking to buy in certain parts of Brampton. Just the other day, I was working with a buyer that works in Midtown Toronto. They would have to go to the office in Midtown Toronto, yet we're looking for a space for them in King City. So buyers are showing tremendous flexibility in this regard here. Anyways, that's Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate, Remax Realtor, Realty Inc. As always, you can find my contact information in the description box. Feel free to get in touch with me with any questions you may have with regards to the Toronto/GTA real estate market. Lastly, if you happen to enjoy this video or happen to enjoy my videos in general, feel free to subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Your support in that regard is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, stay tuned, and see you later.